What's going on, Schmoedown fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. I'm Star Wars competitor Andrew Dimalanta.
And I'm Nicki Dimalanta.
And we're not doing this episode alone. We teased it last week.
No.
We're bringing in the barbarian himself. I already forgot how to pronounce his last name.
Gaynier.
Craig.
Am I on the screen yet?
Yes, you are.
Good. I don't want to waste one of these. These take a lot of energy.
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
We're going to get all kinds of crap because, it's going to be the Finstock Exchange Hour.
It's the propaganda hour.
Whatever. It's our show. We can bring on who we want. But yeah, we've been trying to get you on for a while now. But, things have been happening. We had to push things back. But glad to have you on the show, my man. It's great to see you.
Glad to be here. How many times did Ben Goddard get on your show before I got on?
Sorry.
Yeah, man. He's
I'm curious. What's the number? Is it
it's
six?
like 3.
I mean 6.
No.
I don't know.
I think
exactly
it's 3 or 4.
The number.
And it's 3 or 4. I remember.
Does that mean he's going to be the rookie of the year of your podcast?
I mean, we got you, bro. Okay.
I know.
I love Ben, but
I'm just.
And I'm also glad that Elvis is with you. You can't leave him behind, man.
Yes.
No, look, he's why I get booked on these shows. Elvis, people want to see the Elvis.
Did you know? You probably already know, but I just noticed today on Twitch that there's actually an Elvis emote for subscribers to the Schmoedown on Twitch.
That's
awesome.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. That's hilarious.
You should check it out if you can.
So
But
much
I looked
fun.
today and there's actually a little emote that popped up and it says Elvis. It's like a little picture of Elvis with what looks like googly eyes.
Oh man.
Well, Dan Merle's the one that suggested he needed googly eyes, so we'll see if we can make that happen. I was saying, if it had been anyone else, I would have been like, "That's a horrible idea." But Dan Merle was like, "Okay, we'll look. Let's see what kind of googly eyes I can find."
Really quick before we get into those, I want to get because we've discussed this before about the backstory of Elvis,
Yes.
whose idea was it? What made you all right, we'll do it, and because I remember the story you told me that it was just some crazy thing, and it ended up being this unbelievable character.
Whose idea was it?
So just for our viewers and listeners to give the backstory of Elvis.
Yeah, so it came about very dynamically.
Mm-hmm.
So my first tape day, I show up and Tom Dagnino shows up there, and he has Elvis with him, and he says, "Hey, I was trying to think of some ideas for your character, and I think you could use something like this." And he handed it to me, and so I was like, "Okay." And I spent one match wearing it like this to see if I could handle the heat of wearing it like this. Hold on, not even give me a second. So I sat in the audience for one match, just wearing it like this. It's like, okay, this is
warm.
Yeah, it was warm, but I wasn't sweating too bad. I was like, all right, I can do this. Well, maybe I did it done like this. Was it like this? Maybe I don't know. It's awkward. I'm glad. Anyway, so I spent an entire match doing it snaps. So I spent a match like this. And then afterwards, I was like, all right, I guess it works. And Tom and I were, doing our sketch. We were planning out our scene where he gives me Elvis, and while we're doing it, I just kind of, start stroking him while we're doing it. And he's like, you don't have to wear them. You don't have to wear it if you don't want. You just put it over your shoulder, and just stroke it. That's better. It's like,
all right,
yeah, let's do that. So. That's more comfortable.
It's perfect.
And so we shot the scene, and I'm a little disappointed that the naming of Elvis actually came about in the final take of the scene we did,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I must have flubbed it or mumbled it or something, because it was just in the final take we did, I ended it with being like, his name is Elvis, and just walked away, and it was just kind of off the top of my head giving him a name, and so then the. So I went into the first match having Elvis here, and it was an established thing. I was gonna pet it and whatnot a lot, but then during the match, I just started talking to it as I was just kind of demonstrating my inner monologue of or the inner dialogue of going back and forth over what
answers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, no, he's been good. I feel like he's a little less useful in these matches at home where I have my headphones on, so it's I can't really my ear.
Yeah.
But I still try to work him in a bit. I try some new things with him this new match. So we'll see.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into these matches because I want to talk more. I don't want to spend too much time on these because I want to focus on our guests and focus on your matches that has passed and ones that are coming up for you. So, what do we have first?
So first we got Alex Damon versus Jen Kemp.
Let's go Star Wars because public.
Oh, we'll go. Well,
because it was released to the public.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. All right, let's do Star Wars first. So actually, I'm a jerk, and I didn't actually. For some reason, I didn't take notes. I think I didn't take notes because I was like, "Ooh, let me play along." So
I feel like you say this every week, don't you?
I usually do, but I literally took no notes for this match. Like I usually actually take notes, like at least for the scores. Didn't do it at all for the Ken Ace match.
So but the final score ended up being
the final score was like 23. That I did take a screenshot of.
Mm-hmm.
It was 23-25 in favor of Mr. Cabrera.
Yeah. So we both had Ken going into this. I'm pretty sure everybody had Ken going into this.
And Ken is representing the Burning Droogs, and Andres Ace Cabrera was representing
Swag.
The Swag with Winston. So we both picked Ken.
Yeah, and I think that out of both tournaments, this is probably the biggest upset so far.
I would agree.
I would agree to an extent because I was worried that Ken would and this was a bad concern of us saying like Ken's been away from the game for a while. How much is he actually repairing? Ring rust is definitely a thing. And I was like, if he comes out swinging in the first round, then it's like, all right, this is gonna be a match. But they both missed a handful of questions.
Yeah.
And this was a rough one to watch, especially for me because Ken is somebody that's like, I obviously look up to it as a voice of Star Wars and first champion of the division. It's like, oh my God, this is.
It doesn't tarnish it for me, but
I mean, he did pick it up in the second and third round, so it's not like he'd forgotten it. Like it just seems like he'd focused his prep more on those deeper cut questions than the things that were, and you could tell some of the things that he was saying in the first round that he was like, closely associated as mine. Like he knew the answer but didn't get the correct answer.
Yeah. So I think that's what his knowledge base is. It's like because he's fantastic with Star Wars characters.
Oh my
Every character that came up,
he knows everybody's
it's that person. It's that person. But it was like the smaller little detailed ones that he kind of like quotes. Just small little things that if you watch the movie, you would pick up on. But this is a rough one to watch, and I think Ace as well. I said that he was going to do better than most people thought.
And you ended up being right.
I ended up being right, but also he missed just as many first round questions as Ken did.
Very true.
So it's like, he's the first to go 2-0 in the division, which is it's a feat in itself. But then it's also like, it's like I mean, look at the different competitors and like the division is so tight knit. So. I don't know.
Although one thing I don't know about what. What
did Damon go though?
Damon lost his first match.
He did.
So but on his run to the title, he was 2-1.
Okay.
So
because he lost his first match, but then that was it.
Yeah,
That's
and then he won the triple threat against Ken and Scrimshaw, and then he won against that one guy at I always forget his name. Bruce Green at Collision
to win his title.
To win the title, yeah.
That was hard.
Yeah,
that was difficult.
Well, it was like, okay, we need to feed someone to the wolves.
Yeah. And like Craig, I don't know what your opinion is on this, but and I'll speak for myself. I thought that the first round questions in this Ken Ace match were like, wow.
Yeah.
They were a little bit,
they were bringing,
for a round one bunch of questions.
It seemed like they were bringing second round questions into the first round. I was like, wow,
bringing in Sice Noodles in the first round. I was like, okay, all right.
I mean, they I feel like in general the round one questions in Star Wars are tougher than other divisions, but I know for this tournament so far, there's been a lot of people going close to perfect. I think if we look at compared to other Star Wars matches before this tournament, I feel like it's these first round questions were somewhat on par. Like if we look back at say like the Witt Sullivan match, I don't think these were that much harder than that one, but I think I think for a lot of the the tournament, these questions have been at a little bit of an easier level than the standard first rounds for Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's probably it. And I've been talking to, obviously we were talking in our exchange chat, and like I think Roka said something like, yeah, you're gonna run into things like this because the match between Harloff and Merle, that title match was the first round questions were like, okay, they're asking these now. So it's like every once in a while you get these random like matches where the first round questions were noticeably a little more difficult.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wow, okay, I guess we're doing that. So the first round questions were a little wonky. I think Ken came to play in the third round because he went to multiple choice several times in the second round.
Yeah. Well, he picked what, Rogue One?
Yes.
Which was kind of surprising to me. I thought maybe he'd spin again, but
if it's something that he'd watched recently, though, sometimes you don't want to, bird in the hand,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And
or
for me,
porg in the hand, I believe. Porg in hand is worth 2 on Oct 2. Or
I think
two in the spit.
That's a saying, I think, like for real though.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't, because everyone's like, oh man, Ken, wow, I thought Ken was coming to play, or whatever. I don't know. This doesn't tarnish Ken for me at all.
Oh no, absolutely
Ken
not.
is still the best. He is still like amazing. One of the legends of the game, first champion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very clear that this is just not his path anymore. He's not a competitor anymore.
And when you look at the two between, because like the two that you really compare him in this tournament is Scrimshaw and Ken, because the old guard, just so to speak, the legends of the game in this division. Scrimshaw's head seems to be a little bit more wired towards trivia than Ken's is. Ken's head, he's admitted this, like his head isn't wired for trivia. He doesn't like doing trivia so much. He loves talking about lore and things like that, and ideas and theories in the world. Whereas Scrimshaw can do that, but also he can recall answers a little bit quicker, and he loves trivia. Yeah. So I think that's a huge difference between the two of them. But that's not to say Ken doesn't know Star Wars. He wrote a fantastic book about it.
Not at all.
So it's just unfortunate that it was in round one, and he didn't get to go into the second round, because we both had Ken going into this match, and
for sure.
But yeah, so now Ace gets to go up against Laura Kelly. We'll talk about that later on when that match is coming up, because it's the week after my match.
When we get to predictions and such.
Yes. So let's go ahead and move on to the Damon Kemp match.
All right, hold on here. Okay, all right. So we got Damon, Alex the Demon Damon, and he represents the Rock Stars versus Jen.
Hello, Cat.
Hello, Cat.
That's Xena Warrior Kitten.
Oh, that's
Xena.
awesome.
Yep.
Jen, the meme queen Kemp of The Usual Suspects.
Meme queen. You got the meme queen
the
right
meme
here.
Queen. I like. I'd like to know who gave her that title. But you know what? It is what it is.
Nikki is known as the meme queen in our group
in
of friends.
The circles we run in, it's whatever. I'm sure she's
You guys gonna have a meme off?
That would be fun.
That'd be really fun. Meme Schmoedown.
That's for the 2021 awards and draft.
Oh, yeah.
This is Jen Kemp and a meme off.
That'll be ridiculous.
Maybe we'll just do it at the end of the year stuff.
There we go.
There we go.
Like a little sideshow at the draft and the awards.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll be the pre-show. So round one. The notes that I took, Jen missed the very first question about Ben Kingsley and Iron Man, the character that he played. So that was a hard way to start a match. With your first answer being off.
When you miss
with your first answer being.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a very easy one.
Here's
the thing. She knew who he was.
Yeah.
She says like, "Oh, I know. I just can't think of his name." It's like he's I'm sorry, one of the most heralded actors to be in the MCU. He won an Oscar before she was born. I'm assuming, I don't know her exact age. I just know it was like I was 1 year old when 1 year singular old when he won an Oscar. Yeah. Point is Ben Kingsley's a freaking legend. I'm not on here to trash talk the competitors.
We're just here to dunk and flex.
There we go.
Yeah, it is a little bit of mind games if you miss the first question. It's like, oh,
it's hard
because usually when you hit your first question, it's like, all right, you get that out of the way, and I'm on the board. Let's keep going. So it's tough to miss your first question.
Yeah, and then Alex missed a Star
Would've
Trek question from 79, which
I would have
Star Wars 79 question. They both missed a quote question about perfume, stench of death, Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
Then Alex missed a question that I thought was like, whoa, when they named 3 different actresses and what one character they all play, and it was April O'Neil.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
one
that
was
a good question.
wow. Yeah, that was a really good one.
I would never have guessed that.
Oh, see, I had it at Judith Hogue. I mean,
Yeah?
I'm a true Ninja Turtle stan though. So as soon as they
Yeah.
said, what character did Judith Hogue, was like, Judith Hogue is only famous for Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and One Life to Live, but still more so
More so.
April
Ninja
O'Neil.
Turtles.
Yeah.
More so the yellow jumpsuit. Like,
Yeah,
let's keep it real.
I actually forget Like to Live was a soap she was. She's one of the ABC soaps. I forget, but she's more importantly, she's April effing O'Neil.
That's
But, like,
right.
But I thought Megan Fox was the giveaway there. Look, I know Judith Hogue and Paige Turco, but Megan Fox. Everyone knows Megan Fox played April O'Neil. But,
Yeah. I mean,
my mind went somewhere else for some reason because it's like I can't.
Oh
remember.
no, I did not know it at all.
Yeah,
And I
my
love
mind went
Ninja Turtles.
to another property. I was like, well, okay, I guess I was wrong. But,
the only other comic property that Megan Fox was involved with was Jonah Hex.
Jonah Hex.
but
That's where
only-
my head went.
Yeah, but it's only had one, so you couldn't have had 3 different actresses playing it.
Yeah, that's true.
So at the end of round 1, 7-8 in favor of Jen Kemp.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Going
cool.
into round 2, she defers to Alex. He gets Star Trek because he spun away from heroes and villains. Because I agree.
I agree.
I think, I don't know if it was Roxy that said it or Alex that said it. It's
I think it was Alex,
basically a fancier way to say mixed bag, which
Yeah.
I respect and I agree with. So he gets Star Trek. He gets a perfect round. Good job. Who would have thought it?
Who would have thought he'd know something other
Something
than...
in the cosmos, you know?
He knows
So-
another Star franchise.
He went perfect. Not much to say there. Jen got Wizarding World on her first spin, but she was like, I'm going to stick with it. I don't want to get Star Wars or Opponent's Choice.
And that's a fair point.
And that's a big
That's a
thing
very
that
fair point.
Alex has over everyone is if they spin something, they're not going to want to spin again and risk getting Opponents or Star Wars. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty big deal.
But the thing is, like, they have this rule in place where if you land on a category that you put on the wheel, or if you know what I mean, if you get it or you give it to somebody else, I believe you're not allowed to put it on the wheel for another.
But here's the thing:
Yeah.
we don't in IG we don't put things on the wheel.
Oh, you don't?
No, it's only in singles and teams that you put things on the wheel.
Oh, I thought you did
you did it in IG.
Oh, okay.
Really? Well, guy, because Star Wars, you don't do that either.
Yeah. You get what you get.
You get what you get. So wow,
I
that's new
didn't
information for me.
realize that.
Wow.
I guess maybe the only slices that are put on the wheel would be like a Patreon sponsored slice or something.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Not
I would've-
like a
I would have
pick
thought that would have
slice.
been the other way around.
Yeah. Well, you learn something new every day.
Interesting.
So she got Wizarding World. She stuck with it. She went to multiple choice twice, missed one, got one stolen. So by the end of round 2, 15-18 in favor of Alex Damon. Ping pong and back a little bit. Round 3.
Yeah, that Cornelius Fudge one was hard. I would have gotten it on multiple, but it was it was definitely wouldn't have got it on a 2-pointer. It was like he's it's funny because he's in 5 of the films, but it's like the only thing he's done.
Yeah.
It's not like almost everyone else in the movies are just super famous British actors and actresses. You got Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson, and you got David Thewlis and of course Bill Nighy and Alan Rickman, and you just have Dame Maggie Smith. And so for someone like Cornelius Fudge, where it's I keep wanting to say Greg Hardy because he's the football player, but it was like so it was Jerry Hardy. I'm gonna take a quick peek. No. It was something Hardy. Hold on, let me take a look here. See, but like I said, it was a hard one, right?
Yeah.
Was it an actor question?
And it was
I believe so.
Robert Hardy. There we go. I
Oh.
had the Hardy right. So yeah, Robert Hardy.
Yeah. Was it just what actor played whatever character?
Yeah, but it's like what? Oh, hold on, my screen went blank.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
boy.
There we go. You got me now? You
Yep.
see me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
we never lost.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
The
Let's try not-
barbarian is eternal.
There we go. Anyway, yeah. So it was an actor question, but
Gotcha.
Cornelius Fudge is not, the actor who plays Cornelius Fudge, Robert Hardy, is not a famous actor. So it was, she missed it. Of the options, that's what I would have went with on the multiple choice, and Alex knew it correctly. So, it's good as someone who's waiting in the wings watching this to say, okay, like these are like they're going to ask you the Cornelius Fudges, they're going to ask you, I'm sure they're going to ask you the Dean Thomases, and they're going to ask you like all sorts of random characters. So I'm gonna make sure I know them all. It's it's how it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, Craig. Round 3, Jen's 2-pointer, a source of controversy in a mild sense, not really controversy. I just saw a Facebook post where people were talking about it. So her 2-pointer was an MCU question.
Yeah, this was this match, yeah.
I didn't write down the exact wording of the question, but they said, what was the 4th MCU film to be released in theaters directly after Iron Man 2?
So, yeah, this is something that we all did this. It was...
You, me, and Jen,
and Jen
all interpreted this question the same way.
Yeah, we all said Iron Man 3 because we figured, okay, the 4th one after...
in theaters after Iron Man 2.
After Iron Man 2. So it's like, okay, the 4th one went...
If you start at Iron Man 2, what's the 4th movie after Iron Man 2?
That's how we
interpreted it.
So here's my thought. Now, I'd actually already heard from someone that there was some controversy surrounding that going into the match.
Yeah.
However, my take on it is this. Because I knew that controversy was going to be there, I couldn't tell what I would have heard when I went. But there was a similar match I was watching earlier in the year. It was actually the Kate versus not Kate. It was the Bonnie Somerville versus Brett Sheridan match, where they asked the question where the answer was super bad, but they say, in what 2017 comedy do they do Seth Rogen and Bill Hader play cops? And when I heard it, I thought they said 2017, but it was actually 2007 teen comedy.
Oh,
and so,
wow.
And so because it could be misinterpreted, if that had been me and I'd gotten it wrong, I would have challenged it.
Interesting.
I've actually talked with people that make rule on the challenges, and they said they would have agreed with my challenge.
Yeah.
So I think the same would have applied here. So while the answer she gave was the incorrect answer, if she misinterpreted it based on the phrasing of the question, and the phrasing of the question was ambiguous, then she should have challenged. Now, I don't know if it was ambiguous enough that the challenge would have been accepted.
True.
Because in my mind, even like here, it's impossible for me to judge because I knew to look out for it going in.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I heard it and thought, well, no, it's still Thor. Like in my mind, I still interpreted it as the 4th film.
Yeah.
But part of it, in addition to that, I'm seeing the comma on the screen as the match is happening.
Yeah.
Now, of course, while you're in the match, you don't see the comma on the screen.
Right.
So it's problematic. But I think they were correct to mark her as wrong. But it's the job of the manager and the job of the player to challenge if you think that you got it wrong because of the way the reader read the question.
Yeah. And I think you said you went in the Facebook group and somebody reworded the question to be less ambiguous. It was something like, what was the wording of it you read? It was
release. It was something along the lines of like.
You just have to say it. Just say what was the 4th film released in the MCU.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just leave out.
Release after Iron Man 2. What was the 4th?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Effect.
Something like that. I was
yeah. The way they said it's those. I mean, again, this is just also the way that I process the thinking of the MCU. It's like the way they said it was the 4th, because they said was the 4th film released theatrically in the MCU directly after Iron Man 2, and that was the phrasing of the question, right? And if you get even the slightest pause there, which I think he did the first time at least, or maybe the second time, I think he got the slightest pause in there. It's you just take the important things the first half. What's the 4th film? What's the 4th MCU film that was released theatrically? I mean, again, I don't fault her for misinterpreting it, but if you're going to misinterpret it, you got to challenge it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
As
she
a-
hadn't used, and that's something that Sam, as you know, a veteran of the league and as of a manager and someone who, like, and I feel like Sam is very familiar with how, how touchy these questions can be. So I think I would have thought he would have challenged.
Yeah, and
Me
that's what
too.
surprised me. Is like Sam's not challenging that.
Well, but there
Yeah.
was a weird cut after that
There
question
was.
happened. So who knows what happened during that cut?
Yeah.
Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't.
I remember
but there was
hearing-
a weird cut.
If he had a challenge, they would have kept it in.
Yeah.
Because he, they could have talked about it and not challenged,
Mhm.
but he should have issued an official challenge and made them, say why it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's very weird because this past Star Wars match, not the one with Wit and Molly,
Yeah.
challenged galore. He's challenged on that. It's like I'm weird. That's weird that this wasn't challenged in that sense. It's
Well,
like, so
Got to remember, this
Yeah.
was before the Wit and Molly match.
Shh,
So
don't give him the secret.
Oh, yeah.
So for
that,
those
that
who
may have been may have fed into why he was so
Yeah.
challenge happy in the.
that might have fed into it.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So
Good point.
Mhm.
God, what monster has been created in the usual suspects?
So let's go ahead and continue finishing this match.
I would like to just blame Andrew for all the challenges in that.
Hey,
Molly
hey,
match.
man,
'Cause
that was the
we
most
went on a
legitimate
huge
challenge.
rant last week. And it was like, no, my challenge was valid. The other ones are very passionate challenges. So
Yes.
your challenge valid. Look, your
Yeah.
challenge was valid, and your challenge was upheld. And Mazel tov.
Mazel
That, like,
tov.
that you played the most perfect game. Because now
we like to call those around these parts we call those flawless games. So
Perfecter.
I believe the term you're looking for is flawless.
Flawless victory.
yeah, exactly.
So, there was that question. She missed it.
Mhm.
I mean, with the way she interpreted it, she got it right, but she didn't get it right within what the actual question was.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, in that Facebook post that I saw,
Mhm.
the guy who wrote the question jumped in and he was like, I wrote this question, and I thought that putting in Iron Man 2 was actually making it a little bit easier and giving some more context clues. I'm like,
whoops.
No,
what?
that's the thing. He kept saying Iron Man 2 to the layman.
Yeah.
Should make it easy. Which MCU film came out immediately after Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So he thought he was giving him a context clue.
Yeah.
He was trying to be easier, but
It
you know
was,
what?
half the people understood it one way, half
Half-
the people
yeah.
understood it another way. And in that kind of situation, you're exactly
Yeah.
right. That's up to the challenger or the manager to
Yeah, exactly.
You got it.
the player.
And
or
by the way,
manager.
what are you saving your challenge for if you're not going to challenge that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're already in round
that's good.
3. So, So it stays with Jen for her 3-pointer. She gets Indiana Jones, something about a Grail marker location. She gets it. It bounced to Alex 2-pointer. Marvel. Johnny Blaze's girlfriend. Got it. So it goes back
I
to
feel
Jen.
like they've asked that question 10 times.
You
over
think
the
so?
course of the years.
Over the course of the
'cause
year?
I've,
Wow.
I've rewatched. Oh, of course of the years, not like
Oh,
just
years. I was
seasons.
like,
Years.
wow. Yeah.
And I may be exaggerating, but like I've gone back and I rewatch all the matches, and like that question has been asked in IG repeatedly.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So maybe like 4 or 5 matches from now, be ready to know Johnny Blaze's girlfriend.
I mean, if you don't know it already, then
Yeah. So Jen's 5-pointer, she gets Back to the Future. Who played Lorraine's brother? She missed it. So it ends up 18-20 in favor of Alex. So the rock stars take that W.
A much needed W.
Much needed win.
Because Roxy's betting all our eggs on Alex Damon right now.
Yeah, because
the only competitor left she has.
Who was rock stars in Star Wars?
It was the play-in with
Veveda.
Veveda, that's
no,
right.
No, Veveda. No, Veveda was in the other.
Veveda was the
It was
IG play-in.
Oh.
No, she had plans on both of them. She had
Yeah.
Veveda, and then it was the.
Oh, was it
the,
Covedo?
Quevedo, yeah.
That's
Covedo.
right.
There we go.
That's what it is.
I knew there was a V in it.
There was
Somewhere.
Covedo, Veveda, potato. So that's that they needed that. So
yeah, they much needed. So
it's gonna be real interesting to see Alex Damon versus Brandon Hanna.
yeah.
Because I mean, Brandon Hanna,
He did well in this match.
he did
but
well. I mean, it's gonna be
he
an
did
interesting match.
No, he did fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He
I'm-
knows his stuff.
Yeah, no, and I think he had one of the highest. Look, he and you were in similar places.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People were paying more attention to the record,
Yep.
and then the
than the
two
accuracy
match
rate.
losing streak
Mhm.
than the actual accuracy rate.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
his accuracy was phenomenal, and he had an even better accuracy rate in this most recent match. He is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And I am so glad that Kate traded him away so that the Den couldn't get those points.
Yeah.
True.
True.
Because I think I mean, I don't know about right now, but I guess before the match started, did he have the best accuracy? I know he was talking
I
about
think he had-
80%.
Not the best. He was up there. He's one of the best.
One
like
of.
everyone's one of.
Yeah.
I mean, right now my accuracy rate's third best all time on the for the IG.
Yeah.
Only behind Parker and Smets. I had an 89.9% in my first match.
Nice.
But yeah,
Not to
Hannah's
brag. No, it is to
no
brag. That was
one
a
to
brag.
Right.
underestimate.
Yeah, it's a brag. I mean, I have the second best accuracy rate behind Alex Damon.
Yeah.
So
Tis what it is.
Just
Numbers
saying.
are numbers. Am I right, Frankie? So we move on. We're gonna go to Janine versus Humphrey.
yes.
All right, Janine, the machine of the usual suspects, goes against John, the Mad Hatter Humphrey,
And you
of
had
the Quirky Mercs.
You had Humphrey.
I picked Mr. Humphrey.
I had Janine. This was a complete passion pick for me because I wanted to see Janine pull this one out.
and not
Because
that I didn't.
Yeah. And
you know.
I've been in support of Janine for the longest time. I want to see her get these wins because she's been having some rough luck in the past couple
Yeah.
matches. So I really wanted this win for her, and this IG seemed to be a division where she can actually swing it because
Heck yeah.
those categories seem to be something that she's more or less familiar with. But we'll get into the match.
We'll
so
get into
we'll
it.
Get into it.
So round one, they both did well. By
Mm-hmm.
the end of round one, it was 7-9 in favor of Janine. Round two, John gets the Wizarding World, and he knocks it out of
Knocks
the park.
it out of the park.
He gets a perfect round, I believe. At least that's what I wrote down.
Yeah.
Janine got DCEU, went to multiple choice 3 times.
Yep.
Got 1 stolen, got the other 2. Big old 2-point miss with who voices the Brine King.
Oof.
Who knows that?
Bet
But I bet
this guy
Craig
knows
did.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing with that one. Like she went with Jaimon Hansu, who plays one of the other kings in Aquaman,
Oh,
and so it's that's the
yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
And then I feel like John Humphrey said Jermaine Clement,
Yeah.
who was, it just makes me laugh because that was Tomotoa and Moana. And he's just so silly.
Exactly. I
love
think
it.
that's why he did it. He's like thinking brine and yeah.
I love it. we just watched Moana
Yeah, we
today.
just watched it today. I love that movie so much.
It is such a good
It's
movie.
Such a good movie.
Oh man, I want a Moana match.
It's one of my favorite karaoke go-tos. I can tell a fun story about You're Welcome a little bit later once we get.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Workhorse.
And I believe that one time I saw a tweet or something that Alex Damon has a You're Welcome Star Wars You're Welcome version, and I would love to see that. So by the end of round 2, 13-18 in favor of John Humphrey. Ping pong back and forth. Round 3, Janine gets a 2-pointer. Back to the Future. The guy says something about "You're my density."
Oh yeah.
Yep.
McFly. Yeah.
And she
Yeah,
got
he's
it.
Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan,
She got it.
where you were my density.
You're my density.
Destiny.
Janine's 3-pointer who said it. Something about I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman, and I don't want to be, but you want me to be. Whatever it was.
Batman Forever quote.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
She got it. Bounces to
Good.
John. MCU, the director of Iron Man 3. He seemed to spit that out pretty quick. Shane Black.
That's easy to remember.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very easy.
I mean,
to remember.
2 pointers are pretty
Yeah,
easy.
very surface level.
Yeah.
Goes back to Janine. She gets DCEU again, right?
Yep.
She's,
Mhm.
Christopher Weiss is better known as what?
I forget the answer to this one actually.
I wrote it down.
I know the answer, and I feel like it's a hard one. I was playing
Yeah.
along at home, and this is one that I didn't quite have in the moment,
Mhm.
but it's again tells me things I need to make sure I
Yeah,
ramp
exactly.
up on. The
Yeah.
answer was Slipknot,
Right.
and
Yeah.
what makes that even harder is that Slipknot's barely in the movie.
He's in like
They
5
cut-
minutes. Yeah.
They never say his name. They never. I don't even know if they call him Slipknot in it.
I think they do.
They never. They do. Okay. They never say his character. He doesn't get like one of those intro packages where it's like Christopher White, and he's played by Jim Beach, who is a Native American. So if you didn't know that Slipknot's name was Christopher Weiss, would you think that a Native American character had this German last name?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good point.
And it's such a dumb character too. Like the only reason he's in there is to prove that they can blow their heads up. That's the only reason he's in the movie.
Poor guy.
it's the movie had so much promise.
I didn't see
Twitch.
Oh yeah, I heard about her though. Yeah.
God, I mean, it did. It had so much promise in like the first half of the film, and then they actually get to the mission. And it's like.
Yeah, somebody in the Facebook group was talking about Janine, and she was like, "Oh yeah, make sure you listen to my podcast because I have something to say about that 5-pointer." So I'm curious what she has to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, if it has anything to do with like, I don't want to watch the crappy movies to prepare for stuff, and I love you, Janine, but like, you gotta watch.
Would you? Is
watch
Suicide Squad considered a crappy movie?
Yes.
Like widely?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I expect she'll probably say something along the lines of what I just said. Does her show air before this show will?
It airs on the same day, so it's on Mondays.
It does, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Machine Mondays, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So she'll probably, I hope I didn't just steal her thunder there, but I'm guessing that's probably what she's going to bring up about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was Birds of Prey? I mean, you didn't see Birds of Prey.
I didn't see
Did you
Birds
see
of Prey.
I mean, I hope you've seen Birds of Prey.
Of course I saw Birds
Would
of
you
Prey.
say it's better than Suicide Squad?
Yeah, it's better than Suicide Squad. It's Birds of Prey is at least considered to be like a good movie, a good movie, but not a great movie. Like again, it was a missed opportunity. There's a missed opportunity there, but it's still like it's fun and it's good enough.
Yeah.
Whereas Suicide Squad was like fun but bad. But I think one of the best things I saw somebody post about on it. One of my friends said it's like, if you don't care about story or character development, it's an okay film. It's like
if you don't care about anything.
But honestly, yeah, that's accurate. Like if you just want to see some great actors have a good time and see some great some Oscar-worthy hair and makeup.
It won an Oscar for it. That's crazy.
Hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And so it's like production quality's there and like the acting's fun. Like Jai Courtney's great in it.
Oh yeah, he's actually really good in it.
Everything else I've seen, and no, it's just like it's got a lot of fun. But it's the plot's not there, and the character development is non-existent. Like,
I mean, it'd be a fun watch. I mean, we have that.
I can't wait to see James Gunn's version of it because it's going to be phenomenal.
That's gonna be fun.
Are they're
it's a second one. It's like
it's like a sequel. It's like a soft reboot type deal.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Hulk, Incredible Hulk did for Hulk. Yeah.
But I think Viola Davis is going to still be back in it, so that will make it a sequel. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Interesting. Maybe one day I'll watch.
Maybe.
Who knows?
But yeah, like this was.
It's fun. Just don't expect.
Don't expect a lot.
to quote the Gin Blossoms, if you don't expect too much of me, you might not be let down.
There you go. That's wise. That's very wise.
This was a tough loss for Janine, and you can see it in.
Oh, it was
in her
written
post-interview.
all over her face.
It was like, oh my god, she can't shake this losing streak.
Yeah.
And who knows when we'll see her again? She might be in that massive singles tournament.
I think she will be.
I can't imagine she won't, because I think each faction gets to pick 4 people for it.
Ooh.
So I don't see the I don't see them taking 4. Well, although I don't know. I mean, it's now that we're talking about it, it's like they'll probably put Doug Benson in, right? You don't sign up Doug Benson not to put him in, and so then he's already got Andrew Guy, Ethan Irwin, and then who's he going to have as his 4th? Is he going to put Janine in, or is he going to put in who's his tag team? Didn't he have?
He had who do you have?
I wish I
there's
had
so
a
many.
graphic.
Yeah, there's so much stuff went down with trades and the free agency.
Yeah.
But I've heard
no, maybe he doesn't. So maybe that's his 4. So he's going to have Janine. Yeah, just Janine, Ethan,
Guy,
Andrew, and
Guy
Benson.
and Benson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, there was a lot of chatter about teams division. Well, first of all, who knows what's happening with teams and if and when we get back in the studio.
We have no idea what's going to happen.
But
with
like
that.
there was a lot of chatter about, oh, will he reunite Time Machine with Ethan Irwin?
They were a
will
good team.
they pair Andrew Guy with Janine? Like,
That's a good team,
'cause
too.
There's a lot of potential.
I've heard some whispers, but I don't want to give away what I've heard.
Yeah,
'cause I don't know if
don't give it
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
You know, we can talk off air and whatever. But
yeah, but also like just the wisp. Nothing's ever set in stone until it actually happens.
actually
yeah,
is.
that's true too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I should really keep like a team's graphic of who's on what team,
Yeah.
especially since like free agency is over and everybody's locked for the rest of the season, right?
yeah, unless you
Yeah.
trade.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can still trade.
There's a trade deadline, but there's still opportunity for trades until that point. But you just can't drop anybody.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's where I misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get fantasy football and stuff like that, so whatever.
Yeah. So what did we think of this win by Humphrey? I always say Humphreys, but I said it
yeah.
right, Humphrey.
It was unexpected. I know that I picked him,
Mm-hmm.
but my passion pick would have been Janine.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the real rejects have just been like, "Wow, where did you guys come from this season?" I don't believe that they're going to make it past the second round. They're cool guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, yeah, both Alba and Humphrey made surprising victories in their first round.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their first tag win of the season against
Cuckoo's Mess? Was that it?
Cuckoo's Mess. Is that
Yeah.
what they're calling themselves now? The Cuckoo's Mess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Video
Yeah.
Drew?
Yeah, Video Drew and other New Tom.
New Tom.
Yeah. And so that was that was a pretty impressive victory. And we've seen John Humphrey do well in the free for all before. So it's like, so someone like that who's got great overall trivia knowledge and clearly has expert level Wizarding World knowledge, and who knows which other categories. They've come in wearing Marvel and DC apparel in their last match, although I know that was kind of a costume bit, but I can't imagine they went out and bought all that. They probably had it at home somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So but that reference from that intro went way over my head. I had no idea who they were trying to impersonate.
Yeah, it was some YouTubers or some like what was it? I can't remember.
From their team's entrance?
Yeah, from the team's
yeah.
entrance. That was fun.
For the match against the Pride.
Oh, was it the very cool?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they were referencing, but I really enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
it's a channel video that I'm not familiar with.
I didn't know there was a reference. I thought they were just.
We talked about Ben with it.
We did.
Yeah, we had Ben on that.
Well, it's been a while, so.
I love that in the absence of the wild berries, we at least have the real rejects to fill that void. Is that fun?
Yeah.
That fun competitive tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're like the stepped up wild berries. No offense to the wild berries, but
wild berries that can actually answer.
Real rejects have really stepped it up this season.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, they're the for real wild berries.
Yeah.
But yeah, so so that means that I've got John next.
That's right.
Having won my match. So
I wonder who we're gonna pick in that match.
Before we get to that prediction, let's talk about your past match against who was it? Halavic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Lavick. I won't butcher his name on this show. I don't know how to pronounce it.
He's a halal of a good player. That made me really giggle.
Yeah, that was fantastic. But like, I mean, you did your homework. I mean, it's not hard to do homework on Halavic because he can't seem to shake. We said this last week. He can't seem to shake the Middle Earth thing.
It was I mean, it wasn't just as easy as looking at the Middle Earth because I mean, he's had 7 matches. So when I say I did my homework, like, I didn't just go through and say, it's like, well, he's not good at Middle Earth. Like, I broke that down. Am I allowed to cuss on this?
I'll bleep it out.
You're good. You're right. You're all right.
Well, you're going to bleep it out? All right.
Yeah.
We're not live. It's whatever.
All right. I didn't know. Yeah, right. Well, I'll refrain from cussing. If I was good to cuss, I was going to keep cussing.
we try to clean up
So in my preparation for it, not only did I rewatch all his matches, but I broke down his percentages per category of every category.
Wow.
Throughout all 7 matches. And so it's like he had, the funny thing is everyone's like, oh, I can't believe you're not studying this. Like, he actually did much better at Middle Earth than I expected him to, because before this he was 1 for 16 in in Middle Earth questions,
What?
giving him a 6% accuracy rate. So the fact that he got 3 out of 6 Middle Earth questions in this game like raises his accuracy rate immensely for Middle Earth questions. Yeah,
That's crazy.
So even though he had to go to multiple choice, like so it's clear that he has been studying it. It's just it's a very difficult one to learn if your heart's not in it, you know.
Yeah.
He's been studying it and he got better at it, and fortunately for me he didn't get good enough at it, but actually no, he was 3 for 7 because he had the 5 and then he had 1 in the 3-point and then 1 in the first round too. So yeah. Well, the fact that he got 3 correct in that second round was I mean, like I said, he only got 3 points out of it, but it was 2 more points than I would have expected him to get, and it saved him from a KO. So
what was going through your head at that point? Like, you're going into the 5th round, it's like, oh man, I can totally knock this guy out and get 4 points for the exchange. Like, what was going through your head at that point?
I mean, I was hopeful for it, but his 2-pointer came, and I don't recall the exact question he was asked, but I recall it was an easy one that he was able to get right away. And then his 3-pointer, I was worried he was going to get, because it's one that's been asked in the past, and it's one that it's I think a fairly easy one, but fortunately he didn't have it, so that was good. Which was like, what was the fake name that Frodo used at the Prancing Pony? Which was
right,
Mr.
Underhill.
Fun fact, in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, Jay used Underhill as his fake name when he calls an Uber. So it's like, Kevin Smith being the nerd he is, I'm sure he was doing it as an homage to Lord of the Rings.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
But yeah. So, anyways, back to this though. So he gets the 2 points, which puts him like. So, and also, by the way, in my mind, I'm fairly relaxed going into this, because it's like, okay, even if he gets all 10 points, all I need to worry about is getting at least 3 points to tie, and getting to, like, I get 2 questions right, it's a win, right? And so I was pretty calm and collected throughout the whole third round. He did his he got the first one right, which told me, okay, all he needs to do is get the 5-pointer, and he's still in it. And sure enough, as soon as they said that his 5-pointer was DCEU, I was like, all right, well, I got to get, because like I said, I didn't just look at what he got wrong, I looked at what he got right. He his accuracy rates for DC and Marvel were both in the the mid 80s. Wow. So I knew that he was very good at basically all the comics, which is why, like, when it came to my turn on the wheel, it's like, look, MCU questions are difficult. It's very similar to Star Wars, because people know these movies so well that they go for the deep cuts, and they don't go quite as deep as Star Wars, but they're pretty deep cuts, and so I was a little that's why I was a little hesitant when I landed on it, even though I love the MCU films. I list Avengers Infinity War as possibly my favorite film of all time. That's how good I thought that one was.
Wow.
But and really just the fact that they were able to make that 23 film interconnected series is just it, like, what a time we live in that we can see that come together. It is a feat. In my mind, one of the most impressive feats that we've seen in cinematic history. At any rate, despite that deep love for the MCU, I've watched the Schmoedown enough to know that you don't get asked easy MCU questions when you get in the IG matches. So, but I listen. Look, people knock on Dagnino about, oh, he's just a clown, he's just a fit,
Yeah.
But he knew that he needed to talk me, to talk me into taking it, or at least like present me with the information to, help remind me that, if I don't take this, it could still be on the wheel for Adam to get after the fact.
Yeah.
Sure enough, when Adam spun the wheel, it landed on MCU. So if I hadn't taken it, Adam would have gotten it and done much, but you could have gotten 10 points instead of 3 points. We could have been looking at a completely different ball game going into the final round. So,
yeah, that was a pretty big flex taking MCU.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
I mean,
it turned out for the best.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any category I would spin away from. I mean, there's some categories I would rather have than others, but you know, it's we'll see. It also depends on who the opponent is.
True.
Yeah.
Very
someone
true.
like so someone like Adam Lovick or someone like John Humphrey, who I face next. You might try to go for something that's their strength.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Like, didn't Humphrey just demonstrate that he did well and was a Harry Potter?
It was Wizarding World.
So yeah,
World.
Wizarding World.
He got 10 points on a Wizarding World. So
Yeah. So
it tells me if I can take that out of his, if I can take that weapon out of his arsenal,
exactly.
it's a good one to take.
Be in a
Yeah.
good
So let's get into that. How do we? Obviously we don't want you to give away too much, but is like the game plan any different than going up against other opponents before? How are you looking at his game? Have you gone back and done the same kind of homework on him? How do you see this one shaping up?
But without giving away too much information. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, exactly. So it's much more difficult to try to do homework on him than it is on Adam Lovick because he had never played an Innergeekdom match before today. And so I can watch this match and see, but when it's just one match, small sample sizes can play into, can play a part. And then also it's a matter of, because it's in this tournament, he knows he's going to be immediately having another match after this. He might study up on the categories that he got wrong. As a smart player would. If it appears that you've shown a chink in your armor, make sure you patch up that chink.
Oh yeah.
So so he's very much a mystery for me, and so I really need to just focus on what I can control going in, which is just making sure that I'm as studied up as possible. I've got certain things and certain films that are on like my list of make sure I watch and do this, and like of the movies I watch, it's like there's different levels of concentration needed because there's like 200 films in the IG, but like some of them get a ton of deep cut questions asked, and some of them get the questions asked of, do you remember that this movie exists?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like so yeah, I'm just focusing on, I'm going through these matches that are being aired now, and I'm just looking at the level of questions that everyone's getting and making sure that I'm able to answer any question asked at that level. And so that's what I'm aiming for, and that's what I can control is my knowledge and my prep and my effort. So that's what I'm focused on.
Sounds very similar on our end.
Yes.
for what we're doing.
Yes.
But yeah, can't wait to see what you do against Humphrey. Obviously we're rooting for. We have you going to because this is a semifinal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the quarterfinal.
No, quarterfinal because
sorry.
semifinal will be whoever's going to the final. But yeah,
that's right.
Quarterfinal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm assuming you have me winning the whole tournament, right?
Come on. Ben Bateman said it the best. Like everybody wants to grab on Gucci's style and his management style, but like really because we were the first two picks right after the Horsemen.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, everybody's gonna be looking really foolish because we're gonna be sitting on top of the mountain after all is said and done. It's gonna be Barbarian in the IG tournament, and it's gonna be me in the Star Wars tournament, and everybody's gonna be like, we slept on these two. Why didn't we pick them up when it was because I was fifth, you were sixth. That's like I can't remember how many people went ahead of us, but that was a lot of people that went ahead of us.
I was the 50th pick overall.
Whoa! And of course it was like, well, who's this barbarian guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe some more people should have tried to find out who this barbarian guy was.
Exactly. Because I feel
instead of being like, well, there's a name.
Yeah. I feel like on that side of the bracket at this point, like the heavy favorites to win would be you and Robert Parker. Like that's the obvious for that side of the bracket. Obviously, on the other side of the bracket, it's like Mike Kalinowski all the way.
Maybe Hannah.
But yeah, who's that barbarian guy now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Everybody's looking now.
To the quarterfinals, so it's pretty exciting.
So let me ask you, Andrew. So I know folks from the Finstock Exchange reached out to you, or at least I believe it, right? Did people from did did Tom and or Ben reach out to you before the
draft? Yes, they did. They reached out to, because I've told the story before. I was talking to several managers, but I don't think a lot of them took me seriously, because I reached out to like Kaiser when they were out here in Orlando. I was like, look, man, I've been talking to Smets. Like, I'm your Star Wars guy for sure. So like I was 80% sure I was going to the dungeon.
Yeah, we were pretty sure.
We were pretty sure at one point. It's like, because I talked to Gucci the same night too, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll keep my eye on you."
Yeah,
and I was like, "That'd be pretty cool to go to that faction too." But then, like, so it's 80% sure going to the dungeon leading up. 3 weeks before the draft, I get a message from Ben Bateman.
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey, you an IG player or just strictly Star Wars?" I'm like, "I'm just strictly Star Wars."
Sorry,
just like, sorry, but like, I gotta focus on Star Wars this season. And he's like, "Okay, because we have our eye on you right now." I'm like, this is very interesting. So then I was starting to flip, like, this would be really cool to be drafted. And then I told this story before, that the day of the draft, I enter in with Mark Riley. I get sat next to the Horseman, and it's like, this is
like sitting next to Ben Bateman.
Yeah,
Mark Riley.
the entire draft. I'm like,
crazy.
this is fate. I'm told if I don't get drafted by the exchange, I'm going to be very disappointed. And the rest is history. So
pretty cool.
Yeah. So
good times.
Yeah, I'm excited because like we're pulling ahead. We're getting, because before we're like people nipping at our heels. We're starting to just run away
it's still
with it right
close.
now. It's still pretty close. But
I mean, it's still pretty close, and there's a lot of matches left in this tournament. People can make up a lot of ground in these tournaments, especially because these are like super charged. But even if somebody gets close to us, or heaven forbid passes us by. Then we have the singles tournament coming up.
True.
Exactly.
And so, plenty of space to make up ground or gain further ground in that singles tournament.
And then who knows if the teams tournament will become a factor.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
the problem with a teams tournament, and I hope we're able to do one. And I haven't heard anything definitively one way or the other. The problem is, while we're able to easily do these singles matches via StreamYards, Streamlabs, I forget which one we're using, but did you guys hear that? It was the plane getting the audio.
That's fine.
Hold for plane. And no, so point being, I got myself distracted there. Teams is a different animal because the second round's all about the team conferring amongst each other, and then like we get that third question, team conferring, but then the third round, team conferring amongst each other, and it's, I don't know how you would be able to do that remotely.
There's absolutely no way we can do a teams tournament.
Christian basically said so much that
it's
can't.
not happening.
There's no way.
The only way we get it is if they get the go-ahead to get a studio and rent out our theater, because they're not doing it at Collider anymore. So they rented a theater, and they said basically do an entire tournament in like 2 days. Yeah. So that's the only way it will happen.
The other, it's like, well, the other option is, have everyone travel to a state where the restrictions aren't as bad. But even then, it's now you're adding in. Well, I mean, that would be now I say it out loud. It's like, okay, so we're going to ask everyone to travel.
Yeah.
Okay, socially distance, wear masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting end to the year. It already is a weird year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be weird to see how it ends up. And it's going to be, I mean, with the way things are going, it's like, I know that I think on this week of SCN, Christian actually announced that the Spectacular is planned to be on December 6th, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like,
it's always at the beginning of December. So
is that even going to happen the way we're kind of going?
If it does happen, it'll probably be virtual, because they've already they're trying to work out something for Collision, I hear. And because there's no way we're going to have a in-studio live event type of Collision.
With the way we're going right now.
With the way we're going right now, it most definitely will be a digital Collision with like maybe 4 matches live. Do it live on Twitch and then repost it for everybody else.
Yeah, that's
the way I see it shaping out. But God, like, because I don't know how things are gonna go, but
I mean, but it's the best you can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can do. And virtual's been working out pretty well,
Yeah,
I might say so myself.
yeah, I mean it's a little bit weird without crowds cheering when answers are being correct.
But if it's the only way I can get Schmoedown, I will take it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's like if you see in the match I do the bit where I said 17 and I was waiting for the laugh and then I didn't get the laugh. Oh yeah, there's no audience here to laugh.
Oh,
And
right.
I thought I'd at least get a laugh from Ellis, but it's like God, they just stonewalled me.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, so I was like, I get no laughs, and I was like, all right, which is 1 and 7.
I thought it was funny. You got to laugh from me.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and look ahead to next week. And as of right now, we looked all over.
Yeah, I
we
looked
couldn't
at the
find a single.
Schmoedown page. I didn't see anything past like today's date on the schedule. Because it says Friday, June 19th with Janine the Machine versus John Humphrey, and that's obviously today, the day we're filming, or not filming, recording, whatever you want to call it. And then it says that there's supposed to be a horror championship sometime in June as a Patreon exhibition match. But apart from that, there's nothing actually scheduled. Obviously, we know there's a Star Wars match next week, and it's between Andrew the Hunter Dimalanta.
That guy sounds scary.
Who?
Andrew the Hunter Dimalanta. And then last week I called her Molly Magic Damon like an idiot. And I'm pretty sure her name is Magic Molly Damon.
Yeah, I think
Not
that's
Molly Magic.
Oh.
Magic Molly Damon.
So obviously, I'll let you guys speak on
It's
this.
no shock who I'm going to pick, and I don't think it's any shock who Craig's going to pick.
Andrew the Damon Hunter Dimalanta.
Oh,
Like that. You've said that several times, and I really like it. Because
Wowie.
I know, but I've only said it behind closed doors. Now I got to say it on the air, so it can go out to the universe. The new nickname for Andrew the Damon Hunter Dimalanta.
Yeah, and you're
hunting Damons.
Yeah, I mean, she's no one to sniff at. I mean,
Absolutely
that 5-pointer
not.
was very impressive.
Yeah.
She did a really respectable job against Adam Witt. Obviously, the challenges were like kind of soured
It was a
bit.
scrappy match.
It was a very scrappy
Yeah,
match.
they got very salty.
Very,
Very-
salty's a good word.
He was very upset when he got challenged very early on. You could tell.
Yeah.
The 1,000 years.
You could hear it.
Well, yeah, because I think that first challenge was the how long has Maz Kanata run her castle, and Molly said 1,000 years, he said over 1,000, and then when Sam challenged, Adam was kind of like, "Whoa, so you're telling me I don't know the answer?"
What I'm hearing is you're saying I don't know the answer at all. It's like, I mean, dude, you're in the Star. You've said you want to play in the Star Wars division.
Yeah.
This is how you play in the Star Wars division.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. So I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on with all those challenges, and I could go on for hours
Yeah.
on my take on all those challenges, but I won't.
Yeah.
I'll just rant in Andrew's ear offline.
Can I say briefly though? I really respect Witt's challenge where he torpedoed his own point
Yeah.
because doing so, he kept Molly from getting the bonus question.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like you think it's foolish, but really you kept it from getting an extra
Yeah,
point.
yeah, that's
Potentially an extra point. It
Potentially.
wasn't guaranteed, but it was a big potential.
The option that option was on the board for her at that point. And,
It was. And you kept her from having that on her record. I mean, not like that perfect rounds are on your actual like official record. But
but
just
it's
kept
just
that
clout
from
for
happening.
your flexing.
So yeah, it was like, oh, you lost a point, but you blocked something else. So
Yeah.
you know.
So oh god, I'll fix that later.
Oh boy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What do you?
it
what
worked
doing,
out well
Andrew?
for him.
Oh no, sorry. Like the OBS is screwing up, but I'll fix it. I'll fix it in post. Whatever. But anyways, I'm not looking past Molly Damon because obviously, wife of the champion, nothing to sneeze at. So
Not at
it's
all.
like the preparation's the same. I said it all the time. My goal is Damon. I'm preparing for Alex Damon, I should say.
Wow, does that mean you're calling Alex Damon out?
I have not called Alex Damon out at all. I just said,
Wow, Andrew said that he should play Alex Damon tomorrow for the belt. Wow, calling him out. Wow, what a jerk.
the prepper's the same. I mean, it's like if you prepare for Alex Damon, you prepare for everybody. And Molly's no different. I mean, she has a lot of like just deep cut questions in her head. I don't want to give away too much of my prep for her, but I've done much like Craig has done. with this match preparation, I've done the same looking back because we only have 2 matches of tape on her.
Yeah.
One of them was one I went up against her in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I have that experience of actually playing her. My first 2 matches of this tournament was against the people that I played against. I think
all of your matches have been against Chicago people. Your first match was the
that's
5-way.
true.
Then you went against Laura. Then you went against Joseph. Now you're going against Molly. What's next? Andy Blanchard. I mean, he's not in the tournament. But,
Yeah.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play her.
I think next would be Laura Kelly.
That's that.
I like what you did there.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna shape out. I mean, no skin off of Ace, but like.
Ace got swag 6 valuable points.
Yeah.
I don't know how late in the draft he was taken, but like the fact that his debut match in IG was
Parker.
It was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment. So the fact that he went from that embarrassing debut, that Winston stuck with him, put him in this tournament, and has gotten so far 6 points out of him. He's playing with house money right now.
Actually, didn't he get 7 points because wasn't the first match a TKO?
Yeah. No, because that was only versus 3 because it was a play.
Oh wait. Because he was a play.
So
That's right. Forgot.
Well, see, I did the math, Nikki.
You're right. I don't do numbers, Craig. Okay. I never said I was a mathematician.
But yeah, I mean, Molly Damon. I get a Damon, but
you get a Damon, different
kind of Damon. But I'll be happy to take down a Damon.
But
get to the one I want.
Ace Laura.
We'll get to that when.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that
eventually.
next week or whatever and stuff. But it's not too hard to say who we're gonna pick.
Not to put too much pressure on you, Andrew, but my take on your run in this tournament and the season is that I don't expect you to miss a question all season. So I think that means it'll be very easy. If you don't miss a question during this tournament, you'll win the tournament. It's as easy as that.
Yeah,
so
it's a pretty simple equation.
Just don't miss a question.
There you go. All right, tournament 1.
Keep that 100%. Yeah, keep that 100% accuracy up, and there you go.
Yeah. There you go. Easy peasy.
It doesn't matter who you're playing if you get 100% accuracy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we'll go ahead and end the episode there.
On that
note, just don't miss a question.
Just don't miss, and you got it.
There you go. Episode done. Boom.
But hey, we're up for the challenge. We'll see what we can do.
We're up for it. So we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up right here. Thank you so much for joining us, Craig.
Thank you for having me. Glad I was finally able to make it.
Yeah. We'll have you on again. Maybe at the end of these tournaments, we'll bring us both back. Because we're gonna be sitting at the top of the mountain. So it's like, okay, so
have our big tournament trophies.
Yeah.
You get trophies for the tournament? If not, I'm gonna just make one for myself.
There we go. Yes,
we'll have a trophy some way.
Yeah. So, is there anything special that you have coming up? Anything you want to let anybody know about? Like, where can they find you online? Because we always ask our guests that. Like, anything online? Because, I think.
So I can be found online at Twitter. It's at Barbarian Craig.
Nice.
I'm also on. I go on Twitch. Most Friday nights I join Video Drew's Twitch karaoke, and then I just stream I'm doing it on her channel, but I'm also streaming on my own channel, so that if people want to watch me awkwardly wait for my turn to sing, they can do that and chat with me there. Generally have people stop by. I'm not sure. I got to double check. I'm not sure if I made other plans tonight or not. I got to double check. There's some texts, but I think I'll be on that. Nice. Although it doesn't matter because this is going to air on Monday and Friday is so. Anyway. So my Twitch is twitch.tv/Mogwai417. Mogwai, from Gremlins, Mogwai.
Nice.
My Instagram, if people want to see my pretty pictures, is CF Gaynier. That's C as in Craig, F as in Frank, Gaynier as in to win in French.
Oh, nice.
Gaynier.
Wow.
Excellent.
Is that for real?
That's for real. I am. Look, winning is in my blood.
Heck yeah, it is.
So, Nikki.
Is that all I have? I think that's all I have. My next tournament match will be coming up. I don't have an air date yet, but I'm assuming it'll be airing at the after the first round, right? That would make
Oh,
sense.
it
So
only
Yeah,
makes
that
sense.
only
the
makes sense.
first round, it'll probably be the first match of the second round. I don't know.
We got a couple more first round matches to air.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We already have our picks for that. So,
Heck yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
all right. So, Nicki Dimalanta, where can they find you online?
Twitter. Mostly Twitter at Dimmy, DIMMMYYY.
Nice. As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch, Drew Dimalanta, DIMALANTA. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification to be notified when we upload to this channel. If you're listening on audio form on the Beyond the Schmoedown audio feed, or podcast feed, I should say, follow the feed, rate, comment. If I don't know how podcast feeds works, apparently.
Rate, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon.
And if you feel so inclined, join the squadron by joining our Patreon page, patreon.com/Andrew and Nikki. I said it before. We said it on our last Going Rogue episode. We're going to be consolidating the Patreon to be a little more streamlined, a little bit more condensed.
Yeah.
But anyways, with that, thank you again, Craig, for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Schmoedown.
best. Craig is the best.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Next time. Ready for belts.